everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do something I haven't done before. I thought it would be fun for myself mainly, but also for you guys to look back at my first year of posting on social media. I don't know how many of you know, but I started skipping during lockdown in 2020. Never intended to share my journey on social media to grow a following. And I know that's really difficult for people to understand because I exist doing this now, so it seems like, well, surely you planned this. When I started, nobody was huge on socials. Nobody was huge from just learning to jump rope and sharing their progress, which ultimately is what I started as. And now, yes, I learn new things here and there. Most of my journey is more polished. Obviously, the stuff I'm sharing is like polished performances. Whereas when I actually started this, it was about sharing my journey because I hadn't done any of this before. I couldn't skip, which you're going to see in a minute. Even then, I didn't think people would care about my journey. I started my Instagram account to connect with this tiny jump rope community. And when I say tiny, I say that because it is so much smaller. There was like, I don't know, 20 people who would watch each other's videos and tag each other, and there was this little community. To be honest, I wasn't in when I started, obviously, but then I discovered it and I was like, I want to tap into this. All these people are like supporting each other, sharing ideas, helping each other to learn and providing tips and stuff. And I was like, I just want to learn, and I'm a bit bored in lockdown, so like there's a lack of like social interaction because I'm stuck indoors all the time. If I'm going to learn this thing, it'd be nice to be able to interact with these other people. Don't get me wrong, by the way, there were people in the community who had, I don't know, I think maybe when I started there was the odd person with like 10,000 followers maybe, but yeah, it wasn't a big thing at all. I don't even know how I found it. I think I was looking on the hashtag jump rope, hashtag skipping, that sort of thing, and then I just stumbled across this world. So yeah, let's get into this. Let's go back to my first post on Instagram. Okay, we're there. Let's get into it. 17th April 2020. Now, this was my first post, but it 100% wasn't my first time jumping. Just to clarify, when I filmed this video, I had already been trying to jump rope for ages. This was in lockdown, right? I'd been furloughed from my job. I didn't have any work to do. I literally had nothing to do. There's no one to see, nowhere to go, and it was really good weather. I don't know if any of my fellow Brits remember, but we had really good weather during that first lockdown. I just went outside and I practiced for hours, which I do not recommend at all because you will get an injury like I did, which I'll come to when I get to those posts actually. I literally practiced for ages and this was like the result. So this was as far as I got. I think I might have filmed some of my stuff of attempting, but I deleted loads of those videos. So back then it's funny because nowadays I share so many of my bloopers, I share so many fails. When I decided to open this profile on Instagram and connect with this jump rope community, I wanted to share me being good. Like I wanted to share the best bits. So I made sure not to share the stuff where I was terrible and not able to get even one jump. I decided to share the best thing because that's what most people do with social media, and that was just automatically what I did. This is what I came out with, and it's not terrible. As I said, it's like what I had to show for 2 hours of practice, and look how concentrated my face is, look how hard I'm working. My form, the way I'm rotating the rope is, oh, that was awful. I was like crossing up here, which is way too far. Yeah, like the way I'm rotating the rope, I'm doing the whole thing that everyone does when they start, which is to literally draw circles with the rope, which you don't want to do. You want to flick down. Also, like I'd heard everyone say, like you want to keep your arms in when you jump rope, but when people say that, it makes you want to just put your elbows in, and then what happens is you stick your hands out to the side, and that's what I end up doing here. And also my rope is just really long, and that's why it's impossible for me to keep my hands in. To keep the rope taut, my hands have to be out to the side, and I'm jumping ridiculously high on that crossover because I'm crossing so bloody far, which is also because of my rope length being too long, but it's also because I'm over crossing, and then the rope is coming off the floor a bit, and then I feel like I have to jump it high. All in all though, for my first day I realised this wasn't bad. Let's be honest, how many people actually spend 2 hours trying on their first day. Moving on, 18th April 2020. Again, oh my God, this challenge, I just remembered. I did this so many times. I think it's after this is when I had my knee injury because I just overdid it. So this is a challenge that someone set, go around in a circle doing this footwork, and look how much I'm focusing. Like, this took me so long again. Like, I think it was another 2-hour session because again, I had the time, which I wish I didn't, because then I wouldn't have had this injury because I wouldn't have overdone it. By the way, I'm also using a wire rope from Amazon, like a cheap one with really cushiony handles, which makes your life so much harder. Like, I obviously taught myself to control it a bit here. It was not good. I mean, look, it's a rope is better than no rope, but obviously if you can start with the right rope from the off, like a beaded or PVC rope, which I'll link in the description to my ones. I think my knees were already hurting here because you can see that mat in the background. I think I started jumping on a mat thinking, okay, this is gonna ease the pain. It probably didn't, because no mat is gonna stop you getting an overuse injury. And if you've already got one, then no mat is gonna help you. Like, you just need to stop. Like, I should have been resting here. But then it's quite clear that I thought the mat was getting in the way of me getting my footwork and getting this down, which it probably was, which is why I moved it to the side. But yeah, literally what you can't see is I'm actually suffering here. Yeah, again, I'm just totally, so I'm reading my caption. Honestly, watching these clips back just makes you want to shout, slow down. Yeah, I mean, you're telling me. I shouldn't have really been attempting these skills. Like, I know it's like tempting when you start. There's actually just no point in trying to do these things when your basic bounce form and my run in place form clearly isn't good. Why was I trying to do crossovers running in place when I couldn't run in place properly without doing the crosses? Like, I don't know. I think I'm lucky I had lots of time to persevere. If I didn't have the time to persevere, I probably would have just gotten really frustrated. I wouldn't have got to this point where I've created this video where I'm actually getting somewhere, because I'm telling you, this took me like another hour to get to this stage, which again is crazy to me because it's just so much overuse. Like, no wonder I had a knee injury, and here we are. I did too much too soon. I need to rest my knee. So I welcome suggestions of any other moves like this I can try. And it is great because there are loads of non-jumping drills you can do to rest your legs. So if you do have an injury, you can do these sort of skills, and actually I have loads of them on Fancy Feet's app. What you should be doing really is sticking to your 10 minutes of jumping a day to start with, and then topping up when you have time with non-jumping skills so that you don't have an overuse injury to start with. I ended up not being able to jump for, I think it's 10 days or something, so you'll see that in these videos. But here I am doing backwards EB swings. I have no idea, why was I learning backwards EB swings when I hadn't even learnt backwards jumps, the backwards basic bounce, and I hadn't even learned forwards EB swings. There's two things that have happened already. This is like my first week. I've already done too much too soon, causing an injury. I'm already learning the wrong skills in the wrong order. Like, I'm learning a skill, there's other skills that I should learn first, and then I'd actually find this skill easier had I learnt those skills first. This is where like social media is great, because there's lots of tutorials out there, but because of the way it's presented, it's very difficult to know what order you should learn stuff in and what you should do next. You kind of end up finding a tutorial and you're like, oh, that's cool, I want to learn that. But then you end up in this situation where if I could jump here, I wouldn't be able to do this because I could only jump the forwards basic bounce. I would be able to do backwards EB swings, but then I wouldn't be able to open into a backwards jump. And also I'm learning these without coming out of them, because I'm not learning them to come out of them into a backwards heel catch or a backwards jump. I'm literally just, once I'm in it, and that's that. I'm also doing them really wrong because I'm really high up here when actually you want your hands to be down by your hips when you do this skill. This is an all beginner error. If this is how you're looking doing your backwards EB swings at the moment, that is totally okay, but obviously you don't want to be doing them up here. So yeah, that's that one. Another sunny day. Look at that sunshine, look at that nice lawn. Actually, the lawn doesn't look so great now, look at it again. And now behind the back swings, again, such a random and tricky skill that would be so much easier if I'd learned some forward skills first. Like, what was I doing? I was off on this backwards journey, probably because other people in the drummer community were sharing backwards videos and backwards skills, so I was like inspired to learn those. But looking back, I'm like, that wasn't right for me at the time. Like, I would have been better off drilling forward skills. I mean, at least I was having fun, that's the main thing. Another day of no jumping, and I'm still on my backwards EB swings and behind the back backwards swings, because yeah, I hardly do these skills today because most of the time I'm going forwards. I can go backwards obviously, and I can do these skills much better than I could then, but it does make me laugh that I was so obsessed with doing all these skills then, but they're not what I do day to day now, and they're not what I'd recommend a beginner be focusing on. I don't think at this stage I could do a forwards EB swing, which is crazy because it's easier than a backwards EB swing. Onto the wraps. Okay, now I'm doing some forward stuff. But why I'm doing wraps, having not really done swings? I haven't even done a swing open or a swing open. And here I am, even there, like a step over, doing the one under the leg and stuff. That's kind of, well, it's kind of leg crossy. And that's, yeah, it is a leg cross skill. And that's why I'm like bent over like that trying to do it, because I don't really understand the mechanics of it. Yeah, so it looks kind of ugly. Okay. Where did this come from? Wait, I must be missing posts here. There's definitely a post missing here. It might have been removed for copyright reasons, where I would have been learning the mick release, because I started learning the mick release during this time. Although actually, what it probably is that I probably didn't share it on the grid, because again, this was a time in my life where with social media and a time with in my posting life where I would only post the videos where I mostly got stuff right, aside from like this one where I do a funny fail, but it's a funny fail, so it was like, I think the purpose of this video was to be kind of like showing the fails and reality, but a lot of these I was trying to show myself doing something properly and doing it right and not messing up, so I'd cut out all of the outtakes, all of the bloopers. And I think that's the same with the mick release, because basically as soon as I had my knee injury and I realised like I'd gone too far, it was like an overuse injury and it got better every day I rested it, and I knew I just need to rest it. I also started practicing the mick release, and in some ways, again, a bit like this is why COVID happened, like maybe it was meant to be for me, like this is what life had planned for me. But also I felt with my knee injury, that was meant to happen maybe to force me to learn the mick release. That's a skill that requires so much patience. I do think, I'm not convinced I'd have had as much patience for it if I could jump, because I would have just wanted to do the jumping. Whereas actually with the mick release, you want to be able to do it really well without jumping. You want to be able to drill it into a toe catch. By having my injury, it forced me to do it without jumping. I get so many messages about the mick release, like people just saying, how long did it take to learn the mick release? I've been doing it for ages. And I'm like, well, how long have you been working on it? And they're like, just over a week. Are you kidding me? Like, it's not one of those skills you're going to get in a session. And the drills, you need to be doing each drill over and over. I share all the drills in a full breakdown tutorial on Fancy Feats, my app, but you've got to do starting on drill 1, but not moving to drill 2 until you can do drill 1 so easily. We're not going to try and jump it at that stage, you know, but then people want to catch it and jump it, and it's like, no, scale it back. And I have to say, scale it back I did do, but because I was patient, I had to be patient because I couldn't jump. And then this was the 2nd of May, so obviously my injury had eased and I started to jump. All the practice I'd been doing with my non-jumping releases, I put it to the test with jumping. I mean, disclaimer, only 1% of misses made it into this video. This is fake news, this video, like, God, still got a high ponytail at this stage, how I was managing to carry on. And obviously my feet are planted on the rotation, so to bring this into my actual jumping like consistently and make it look really smooth and seamless like I do today, you don't want to be planting your feet obviously on the rotation like I'm doing there. But it's obviously fine that I'm doing it there because I'm a beginner and that's what you do at the start, but I'm just explaining to you guys what I've changed since, because obviously some of you will be thinking, well, this looks really good, but actually to scale that into the routines I do today is very difficult. But we get there, we chip away. Okay, on to crossovers and swing crosses. 4th of May. Oh, look at me. I was gonna say, can I do it on the other side? Because I was literally just doing it on one side and then I tried it and I messed up straight away. But again, with this,
that would be so much easier if I learn to do a crossover with the other hand on top, which I didn't know that I needed to do really to be able to swing into a cross on both sides. Because when you swing into a cross, the side you've swung on, that arm goes on top for the crossover. Obviously, if I'm always used to putting my left arm on top, which is I'm pretty sure is my dominant, then obviously I'm going to be okay swinging into it from my left, as I kind of am there. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but it's better. And then suddenly having to swing from the right and have my right arm on top of the cross, I'm like, why is this so much harder? And I'm there thinking, well, I just need to keep practicing the swing into the cross. Well, no, actually, I needed to practice doing the crossover with my right hand on top as well, just isolating the crossover, because I was always doing crossovers with my left arm on top. And again, this is stuff that it's really hard you don't get that information necessarily online, you know? People will show you how to do stuff. People aren't necessarily that detailed. People show you how to do stuff and they won't kind of remember, they won't think about what it actually took to learn that themselves. Moving on, okay, this was just a little fun thing I did. I think this was when I was actually, you know what, I think I was obviously sharing my jump rope journey on Instagram, and I actually started enjoying editing my videos as well, and I was like, I want to be creative. This is like the early days of being creative with my videos as well, and look at my edit. So I basically learned to jump backwards for the first time properly so that I could create this video, and I did all of this backwards basically. So when I dropped the rope there and I went like that, I can't even work out how I did it myself. Yeah, no, I would have done it all backwards, then drop the rope and then go like that. It really isn't that clever, is it? But back then I thought I was well clever. I thought I was doing something really good. Someone's even trolled me here about it. I'm not surprised. I know this one, double unders. You see, with this, I mean, again, it's just the thing that actually would get in my way most of the time is my high ponytail. The one thing I understood from the start with double unders is about bounding higher. Like a lot of people, they just focus on moving the rope so fast. And I think as well, like I was always into my weightlifting, and I think I had the strength in my lower body to elevate, to push off the ground and elevate high and just do that. To be fair, you know, 6th of May, I mean, that's less than a month in, you know, it's only a few weeks into my journey. It was pretty good going to be able to get 8 double unders in a row. And also note that I'm using a beaded rope. This is when I kind of started loving, like, so as you can see, actually, I took my hair down because I was like, my ponytail's getting in the way of the rope. And I started to just really enjoy jumping to music. Like obviously I can't play this music on YouTube. This is really slow obviously, but I just loved it. And this was when, I've got to say, like, you know, less than a month in, I was just already starting to really like flow and just enjoy the escape you get from jump rope. My caption here, had a few too many quarantinis last night, so this was a challenge today in the sun. So look how much better I'm crossing already. And that's an EB, got my EB swings, one side looking better than the other. Swing cross, am I gonna do the other side yet? Still not looking great compared to the other side. Swing kicks, nice. And at this time, by the way, I'm literally leaning my phone against a paint can. I'm recording with my front camera. Like I didn't really care how good the quality was, because my page still wasn't about like reaching a new audience, because why would I think people want to see this? Because I wasn't very good. Like not like I am now. Like this is very much more normal, standard skipping compared to what I do today. I never thought people would be interested in it. Some backwards, so I started doing a lot of 180 turns and switching between forwards and backwards skills, which is what's happening here. EB swing, 180, and watch my mat. It's like my mat ate me. Yeah, but I was doing good. I mean, this is still less than a month in. But I think it's realistic. I think I've spent a lot of time at the start, but then I undid it because I had my injury. If people spend less time than I did, because that's more likely, because they won't necessarily have as much time as I did. And then, you know, they gradually improve and don't get injured. I think this and more is so possible in the first month. I think more is actually. I think now I've made it so accessible, although I say so myself, like with fancy feats and like how I've really structured it now so you can learn so easily. I think people can achieve a lot in a short time now. Here I am again with my jumping on the beat. So all these ones now, I think I start kind of jumping on the beat of the song a bit more. But I started showing my mess ups as well still. I say started, I never really didn't share my mess ups, but I don't know. To be fair, there are probably some sessions where there was so much messing up that I didn't have much good to share. I think, so here I basically started doing the EB, which is like the EB swing, that's where you jump it. And I remember actually I could do one variation on one side and the other variation on the other side, and I couldn't do the opposites on each side. I really struggled as well to do the EB swing without like stepping to the side, but it kind of made it a bit stylistic. Like, I think it kind of worked. I can just see what's going wrong here. Like, my arms are just so far from my body. Like, look at the gap. That arm should be tucked behind my back. Like, that hand never made it up to over to here. Like, that's better hand placement on the back, but then that front one is quite far forwards. Like, really it needs to be tighter to this hip, which is why I'm bouncing so high. Look at that. It is a hard skill. And then I was just vibing with some EB swings. This is fun. 12th of May. EB swings are fun. Like, now I can jump, obviously. The jump rope is really fun, but I think with EB swings, they're a beginner skill, so you can learn them quite early on, and then you can vibe with them. And it looks like you're jumping the rope when you're not. So this was, yeah, exactly a month since I took delivery of my first rope. I actually forgot to mention that I'd started using a beaded rope literally by the 23rd of April, so just after my injury. Just after my injury kicked in. So everything since my low impact stuff has been beaded rope or PVC rope. It's a shame I can't play the music, but this is all on the beat as well. I was getting so into it. My little running man. It's funny, but if I did this speed now, it would look so slow. But on me there, it looks fast because obviously I'm struggling with it. You know what it's like? I always say this to Becky, actually, John Rowe's sister's Becky, because she is a speed machine. Like, she's way faster than I am. She just looks so relaxed. So her top speed, I can't do. But when she does it, you'd look at it and think I could, because she looks so relaxed doing it. When she does stuff I do that looks fast on me, she makes it look slow because she's doing it so naturally. It's the art of making stuff look easy. I even say here, honestly, jumping has brought me so much joy at what is quite frankly an abysmal time for all. I refuse to mention the C word. I'm so thankful to the wonderful community on here who welcome me with open arms and inspire me on a daily basis and have helped me so much to progress so far. And I really hope I'm inspiring others to pick up a rope too. Because I think at this stage I did start to notice that my posts were like, they were reaching people that weren't in the community. I think it was inspiring because people would see the progress. They'd see where I started and where I got to, and they'd see that it was in a short time. Whereas I think other accounts existed that were showing really cool skills and stuff, done even better than I'm doing here. They didn't show the journey of getting there, and which is what I show here. I feel like you have to either show the progress really well or you need to perform really well. So I think my account now, obviously I share the progress stuff occasionally, but I think my channels now are very much more about the performance and, you know, me choreographing routines to music and then performing them, and people love that and people watch it for entertainment. Whereas back then my account was growing, people were like rooting for me. They stumbled across my account and were like, okay, this girl's learning a skill, I want to see how she does, and kind of following for that reason. So yeah, I carry on. So 16th May 2020. I remember this, I was doing Gardy, I think that's how you pronounce his name, sorry Gardy if it's not. I was doing one of his routines. I remember when I get this at the end, I did a really funny celebratory kind of run into the garden. Also, by the way, this is my old house obviously, but this is when we didn't have fences, and there we go, here's my celebration. But yeah, people commented like when I got the fences saying I've made it look awful, and it's like, look, who the hell wants to have like a bit of chicken wire between you and your neighbour when you're sunbathing in your bikini in summer? People were quite bothered about me putting fences up. 18th of May. Footwork, pretty simple stuff to what I do now. Oh, getting a mick release into what I'm doing. I think this is when I'm going to be doing some turns according to the caption. EB's looking better, but I am using long handles here. That's a bit of, I'm cheating. Look at me doing my fun turns. I just had the best time with this. It's so much fun learning it. I think learning is the best time because when you learn, like there's so much to learn when you start jumping. When you start jump rope, there's so much to learn. You're right at the beginning. Oh my God, this is so funny. I kept changing my trainers. Like, I changed my trainers, I kept moving, like having a mat and then changing it. I changed so many variables. I think I changed the rope. Yeah, I ended up back on my Amazon rope because it was a wire rope and I needed it to move far because I thought it would make a difference. Also, this mat, now I'm into the era where I had this mat and it's like one of those squishy like gymnastics mats. I have to say I wouldn't recommend it because, I mean, I was quite surprised actually because there was like a couple of jump rope coaches at the time who were recommending these to people. And I think if you're doing power moves and like things like that, they're worth it. But if you're doing multiples and footwork and all that stuff, you need to be able to push off the ground quickly and you don't want anything basically taking your bounce away. So actually I feel like this mat, like loads of people were always really interested in it and I thought I kind of liked it at the time. I feel like it stopped me progressing as fast and actually just increased the risk of injury because like it increases the risk that you could turn an ankle because it's so squishy. So yeah, I don't really know what I was thinking. Oh, this is so funny because I missed the beat drop. Well, I was so panicked thinking I was going to miss it that I messed up. And then I did actually start on the beat drop. Cupid Shuffle Challenge. This was set by Jump Manila. Don't know how you pronounce Manila. Obviously in the Philippines. I've never actually had to say that out loud and I've just realised. So this is 30th of May and going into June, I feel like I was really getting into the footwork a lot more. Like I'd learned quite a lot of tricks, but I think I was realising that I enjoyed the footwork more than anything. 3rd of June, this is when I first started doing footwork with tricks, like doing arm skills as well. Like here I'm doing swing, swing, open, whilst doing the Running Man. I mean, now I think to myself, think of all the stuff I do with the Running Man now. Like I just do loads of stuff. If I could say to myself back then, you're going to be able to do all of this later on, I wouldn't believe it. That was Bav's challenge. Bav was always in the community I used to speak to quite often and he used to share little challenges, I did too, and it was fun to watch his stuff as well. Oh look, we actually had some rain. This was 7th of June. Still on that stupid squishy mat. Oh, trying to do a TS. Oh my God, I hate this skill. Nice little EB wrap turn. Backwards jumping. I'm waiting for the toad. I feel like there's gonna be a toad in there. There we go. There we go, both sides. TS! Bloody hell, this is a hard routine. I don't think I could pull this off now. 9th of June, 2 months in, guys. This is what you can learn. You know what this is? I remember this moment. It's 12th of June, 2020. It's literally like my 2 month, nearly my 2 month jumping anniversary. And this moment here, was like the moment where I was like, okay, this is my thing. Like this, I am getting quite good at this now. I like jumping on the beat to music. It's starting to feel really smooth. And I really kind of realised, okay, this is clicking now. So I do think when you first start, obviously it just feels like, how am I ever going to flow? How am I ever going to get into that flow state? That flow state is the best. Like when you can jump rope and you just lose yourself in it. And that's literally what's happening here. This is me like 2 months into my journey in a total state of flow. It's so cute, it's so sweet. Little me. Had no idea what was ahead of her. I don't know how many followers I had at this point, but I imagine I would have done a post when I hit 5,000 followers or something. And so here I started actually sharing tips. Oh my God, look at me. Got my my teethies. I mean, I don't know how many of you know, but I've got composite bonding. But I do get criticism. People say like that it's because I've got fake teeth that my lip is often up here. Well, these are you can see here that I've always been a top teeth prominent person.
Then put the mat down so it'll be much kinder on your joints. And lastly, keep on your toes and jump low. Try not to kick your feet back as you jump.
Bless me. Right. Ooh, nice little mick release. Getting very into it here. So this is literally, I mean, you can tell in the way I'm jumping that from this point, like there's just so much more I'm so much more relaxed. I'm just flowing and enjoying it. This is more of a trick routine. I think I started to realise as well that when I did more tricks, they didn't get as much attention on social media, but when I did more footwork stuff, they did. I don't know if that's because I enjoyed the footwork more, so maybe it came across in my videos, or perhaps that obviously I was better at performing the footwork, so those routines just looked better, I don't know. By this point, so this was 25th of June, I'd gone back to work. I'd been put on part-time furlough, so I was working the mornings, and then in the afternoon I wouldn't be working, so I would do my skipping. This is 30th of June. Switch crosses, did you see that switch cross? Let me go on it again. Nice mick release, switch cross. So this was like, how long's this into my journey? Like 4 months? When did I start? No, I started April. Sorry, April, May, June. No, sorry, 2 months. Okay, this was my first proper footwork challenge. 5th of July, 2020. Good morning, Max Frost. Who remembers this? I was so relieved to get to the end. 3 months of jumping, this post celebrates. Oh. Oh, nice little mick release. I was getting much faster with those, way more consistent. So I started that routine with a mick release and I ended it with a mick release. This is when I went on holiday. Managed to actually go to Alicante during lockdown and it was like dead. And look at those ladies walking in the background, they were like really impressed. Me doing my swings right up here. I'm like, I just look so wooden doing that. And this was, yeah, I went to stay with my mum and dad as well in a villa nearby. Backwards business. Nice. I love that little behind the back mick release 180. God, what are those shorts about? Looks like I've been in my dad's pants drawer. I actually think I remember debating posting this one. Oh, nice, doing a bit of a mamba mick release. This is in August, by the way. August 2020. Oh, nice, awesome Annie. Into caboose, into your backwards. Backwards double under, God. Oh, never mind, you smashed it until then, mate. This is when somebody turned my video into this fancy thing. Quite cool, really. When I look at this, I mean, this was all to August 2020. May, June, July, August, so 4 months. Imagine if you start jumping today, this is what you could be doing in 4 months. So in the middle of summer, you could be this good. Not sure what's with the lifeguard t-shirt thing. That's fancy. This is when I was down in Devon with my family. August bank holiday 2020. People were having breakfasts in that room behind. I think this is one of my early posts that kind of took off because it's got 10,000 likes. I think it did quite well. I love the slow-mo back then. Thing is, nowadays, everything is recorded so on the beat that for me to add a slow-mo in it would like ruin the timing of the routine with the song. So I don't tend to add as many slow-mos now. But I do send slow-mos of all my videos to everyone on my mailing list every Saturday. So if you do want slow-mos for all my videos, just sign up for that. I'll put it in the description. Nice little transition post there. God, I've definitely improved my transitions. I thought that was so good. This was when I started kind of being a bit more intentional with my routines and actually choreographing routines to the music and doing certain things at certain points and stuff. Whereas before this point, I think everything was a bit more just, you know, just jump. As I've written here, just out in the rain again, threatening to destroy another pair of headphones. God, I loved that Awesome Annie into Caboose. And I loved the TS back then. This whole routine, I'd struggle to perform today. This is a cool one. I remember this. There's there's a really cool stall part where I just keep stalling the rope. There, 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 there. Oh, and then a backwards release. I hardly do backwards releases anymore, actually. I should do them. 6 months, 50,000 people. Little progress post. I could have just watched this. I didn't need to go through it all, did I? Let me know if you're enjoying this and if I should do more of these, because I'm only going to get to the end of 2020 in this video. I can carry on and do more. I think it's quite a nice thing to do because I'm approaching my 5-year anniversary of jumping, so it might be quite a fun thing to do. It's so interesting how my style has changed quite a bit and how there's actually some skills that I used to do like every routine that now I don't put in any routines. Like it's crazy. Holiday jumps. This is when I went to Rhodes. A swim up room. So this is a really good place to jump actually. I don't know, there's something I kind of like look at these, I'm actually getting inspired. I'm like, I feel like I could go back to some of this style and start incorporating it in my jumps today a bit more. This is when I found out that Example was following me. So I did a routine to his song. It's funny because now there's loads of celebrities and different people following me, and obviously, but back then it was just wild to me. Like when I had sort of like less than 100,000 followers, I was like, oh my God, a celebrity is following me. Don't get me, it's still cool now, but obviously when these things happen all the time, you kind of just get a bit less, you get a bit more numb to it, which is kind of a shame, isn't it? Isn't it amazing what you can achieve in a short time? I just think with jump rope, it's so achievable in a short time. Like people watch me now and they think, well, she's been doing this 5 years, so well, obviously she's like that. But you can see from these videos that I actually, most of the learning, I learned the most in my first 6 months. And that's the fun part. This is like getting to the end of 2020 now. Isn't it mad? It's still been over 4 years since this. So there's so much evolution Lauren Jumps has gone through, and my style and everything has changed so much. And let me know if you want me to carry on and do some more of this. I'm going to leave it there, end of December. I think at this stage my channel had just Instagram, because I wasn't really on it. I mean, I did a bit of TikTok, but I didn't really take it seriously. But I think at this stage I had maybe 70, 80,000 followers on Instagram, which is wild. Like when I look back on these videos, I'm like, I didn't choreograph anything. I wasn't as good as I am now. Like people just loved following the journey and watching me evolve and progress and learn more skills and stuff. I hope you enjoyed that. For some of you it could be something completely new, something you've never seen before, and for some of you it'll be a trip down memory lane, because I think there are some of you that have been here from the start, and I love you for that. If you want to get started with jump rope, I'll put all the details, I'll put a link in the description for my free quick start guide, but also my app Fancy Feet. We're actually running a sale at the moment because this month my app turns 2. I launched it 2 years ago in February this month, so it's crazy. I can't believe how fast time's gone. But we're running a birthday sale, so it's 30% off all subscriptions, and you can get that discount until the end of the month, 28th of Feb 2025, just to be clear, in case you're watching this in another year in the future. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, pop a comment to let me know what you thought, and I will see you in my next video. That's a wrap, innit?
Yes.